What's a main character without a potential love interest in the possible future? You know, Sonic, the main character, and then you got Amy Rose. She is also a hedgehog, but she's pink. Just like Sonic the Hedgehog, she's pink. Hedgehog species. In her lore, it's talked about how she's inspired by Sonic. And then there's even other statements that say she wants to marry Sonic. She loves Sonic so much, if she had to choose between saving the world and Sonic, she would choose Sonic. That's crazy. She's a cheerful girl. Amy Rose is very energetic. She's a breath of fresh air because of her positive attitude. She loves to help others. She will always follow her heart to protect the weak, even if it means putting herself in danger, because she has a strong sense of justice. But let's analyze how strong she is, shall we? Even in her bio, it's talked about how she has surprising strength. They straight up say she has incredible strength, wielding her hammer with incredible strength. Let's just say she has a lot of different aspects about her that makes her a threat. I mean, look, she holds this big hammer, something you don't see other crew members do. This is unique to her. In her lore, they even mention on how she always carries around this Piko hammer. She has some slight gag abilities because she can like pull this hammer out of absolutely nowhere, kind of like Magic Satchel you see cartoon characters do. I mean, she's had different hammers other than this big one, for example, like this long hammer with extra reach or whatever. I guess you could say she has her own version of grenades, like throwing a literal present at somebody that can explode. Other gear that she has other than that hammer is these fortune cards. You could say this is what makes her unique of the group. She can kind of like look and get extra information because of these cards, these fortune cards, kind of see in the future type stuff. I'll let them say it.
Amy's going to use her fortune card deck to tell our future. I've been using my fortune cards to perform divinations. That means that as I draw the cards, I read into their meanings and make predictions on what the future might hold. My cards have taken me to some big adventures before.
You could almost say she's the Lara Croft of the group when it comes to adventuring. With the help of these cards, of course, it helps her adventure a little better.
They did lead me to Never Lake, where I met Sonic for the first time. Are the cards always accurate? They don't give you spoilers on the future. They're more like signposts to help you chart your own course, to find your own fortune. Maybe I can get some insight with my fortune cards. All the cards are telling me is that things are obscured and danger approaches. I knew that already.
I'll be back before you can do a fortune card reading. Amy, did your fortune cards warn you about any of this?
Believe it or not, other than just using her hammer, she will use her cards in creative ways, like literally making her own tire out of the cards. This leads me into talking about her fighting skills because she technically has training without relying on these cards. Amy will legit train and exercise like the rest of the cast. There's even certain events that she blames herself for not exercising enough. Like she legit be having boxer-sized partners stated, let's start boxercising. Just like the rest of the crew that you've probably seen in my other videos, she does get stronger as time goes by. Matter of fact, Amy even did some Rock Lee type stuff when it comes to weighted training clothes. She was fighting with weights on her arms and legs. It was so bad when she took off this weights, you can see everything shake after she took all this crap off. Yeah, this Google translation is having issues, but yeah, they're talking about Amy getting stronger. Tails is saying Amy's getting stronger. That's why she can do her own version of the spin dash, the thing that Sonic do and a lot of other characters do, this rolling up into a ball type thing. It's classic. Matter of fact, her running speed's so crazy to where if an enemy tries to go behind her while she's in the middle of thrusting, the pressure of her run can actually mess up the enemy, smaller ones. No, she's no stranger to exercising and straight up boxing it out without the hammer. Like she got moves where it involves just using her straight hands. In stuff like this, for example, like you see the boxing gloves, yeah, straight hands. Let's just say she got some ninja training. She's a kid-friendly type character, so she has a little spice of Toon or Looney Tune. It's not full-blown Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck or anything, but there's implications that they can get flattened and not die. So, yeah, kind of gaggy. There's times where she breaks the fourth wall and looks at the camera, like telling you to start letting her move, because she's getting bored. Like, tell me this don't remind you of some cartoon character type stuff about her head getting this big to scream and hurt people. Like, you telling me that ain't cartoon character-ish? Looney Tune-ish? Come on now. There's even times where it appears she can make force fields. Somebody explain to me, what does this mean? Like, she literally went straight up invisible? Like, what the heck? This could be a game mechanic, but one of the versatile things she can apparently do is focus her energy and she can heal from damage, apparently. What do you think? Do you think this is a gameplay mechanic and you think I shouldn't count this? What do you think? Do you think it's possibly because of her magical nature or her knowledge? Like, what's up with hedgehogs in this universe? Like, they're ridiculously strong. Amy's one of them, too. Like, she can literally take off her weighted clothes or whatever, and everything shakes to show her super strength. She be fighting in this kind of weight when she's training to get stronger. When it comes to tons, she probably can lift 16 plus tons. I mean, she can literally just summon a 16-ton anvil in the middle of a fight. Yeah, we've seen her push things many times her size. Literally, the whole crew is strong enough to stop alligators from biting them. Amy is one of them included in this combo. And right here was a team effort, but she was one of the 4 beings to help slow down this actual train to show her superhumanness. I mean, I already showed this earlier, but yeah, just like the other hedgehogs in this universe, like hedgehogs in this universe are crazy for some reason. She has surprising strength. So, I mean, sure, Amy isn't the tallest character ever, but the fact that she just carries around this hammer, summons it out of the blue, and just swings it around like nothing lets you know that she has to be superhumanly strong. This hammer's like the size of her. This kind of stuff is normal for Sonic type characters. Like, for example, here, this isn't Amy, but yeah, hedgehog type beings do this all the time. If she has gear that she can drop that are so heavy that shake everything, I would definitely say, just like how she can summon this 16-ton crab, I feel like she would be able to lift it. You know what I mean? When you see her hit stuff with her hammer, this kind of implies she can lift a lot of weight too, based on the weight of her strikes and stuff. You can kind of get an idea of her strength that way too, kind of, sort of. Without her hammer, we've seen her kick beams in the air. We see her do the same stuff when she's using her hammer, swinging people in the air, smashes this rock. We've seen her be able to crush or strike the ground beneath her and break it. Take a look at how the ground acts when she hits it. It's kind of like a shockwave breaking up these traps, these spiked traps. This should be a no-duh at this point, but yeah, she's working together with Knuckles, messing up Eggman's defenses, or bots. You literally see them mow through them like lawnmower, and they work together to hit through the brick wall, so yeah, she can hit hard enough to bust through bricks. It's constant, man. Like, look at these Eggman robots she just shatters. Hey, you can call me an assumption maker if you want to, but I feel like any time a character can mess with Eggman's giant mechs off of default, if you can parry his attacks, you automatically can shatter buildings. I'm just saying, Amy, this shouldn't be nothing shocking for Amy either. She's a hedgehog in this universe that's incredibly strong. Yes, this kind, innocent soul can blow your whole apartment away with a hit with her hammer. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but like every character that's a part of this crew in this universe, she's pretty fast on her feet to literally run on water, make her own after images. The game makes it the point to make everybody have a ridiculous running speed. I mean, if we're being honest, part of the reason why she can probably strike hard is possibly because of her speed, like the rest of these characters in this universe. When you can punch at a certain level of speed, those punches have to have weight after a certain level of speed. That's the same with Amy. Somebody that weighs only 50 pounds was to run at you at a crazy miles per hour and just land on you. That punch would hurt extra. This multiversal entity was like pulling everybody, and she was resisting it with her running, so you know she can't be slow. Freaking Solaris was doing all this bullcrap. You remember Solaris, that crazy dude that was existing in 3 different points in time at the same time? Matter of fact, it kind of implied her and Knuckles was moving so fast they was kind of using their speed to ram into all these different bots in the wall. There's even certain moves she has where she rams into her opponent with speed, like hip check. It's kind of the classic Sonic homing attack thing where she can ram at enemies just with ramming using her speed. Even when big mechanisms like the Death Egg was about to explode, she can outrun and get away from the explosion in time because of her raw speed. Not to mention, she falls from crazy heights after, outrunning the explosion. To show her body ain't normal, she just lands like no big deal. Along with her being able to move fast from point A to point B, let's just say her reflexes are on that same level too, like the rest of the cast members of this group. Like, I know these missiles look extremely slow in this particular situation. This is more than likely a game mechanic. The game developers are making the missiles look slow for our eyesight, but this is really just the characters themselves being faster than the actual missiles, making the missiles look slow in comparison, I would say. Game mechanics, right? They be making lasers and electricity look slow. She's effortlessly able to dodge missiles, basically. Amy, just like the rest of the Sonic characters, there's implications she can react to light speed. Stuff like lasers, like constant Eggman stuff. Eggman uses lasers all the time. This is nothing really new for the Sonic cast. She's superhumanly strong and fast. It makes sense for her lore and narrative to be this fast. If I'm being honest, for you to even be a competent group in this game's universe, you have to have dang near light speed reflexes based on the opponents and constantly fighting fast beings they have to face. If she wasn't somewhere in those light speed ranges, she wouldn't even be able to hold a candle to none of the Sonic cast. She would basically be useless, and she's not. There's literally times where she's fighting with Sonic, dodging attacks from Eggman stuff. Eggman stuff is constantly able to keep up with Sonic too, so you know she's not slow. I mean, they literally got her doing similar moves to Sonic in this very clip. I mean, sure, this is a silly moment, but there's times where Sonic's legit running away from Amy. I know this is silly, y'all, but there's times where she's not completely slow in comparison. Like, she actually bops him on the head a couple times. She can't be slow, right? This isn't my first time talking about Sonic, but guys, you know this by now. You should. If you haven't, Sonic is constantly talked about how he's at bare minimally light speed. Light speed is talked about. There's even times where Sonic says light speed is nothing to him. So like he's quite a bit above light speed. He says light speed is not really a big deal to himself, and I believe it based on his lore and feats. Light speed is mentioned too many times. I'm talking about Guinness Book of World Record status, saying he's faster than the speed of light. Nobody's trying to say Amy is as fast as Sonic. Obviously, Sonic, that's what he specialized in. But yeah, she's a hedgehog too. She's not slow in comparison. She goes on missions with Sonic, fighting Eggman's mechs with Sonic, and she's able to hold her ground while fighting together. So she's not slow in comparison, even though we would all agree that Sonic is faster, of course. She's obviously not a slug in comparison to Sonic. So I would say she bare minimally has to be light speed. Light speed is not even really a big deal in this universe. There's beings that can surpass light by a large margin, like Sonic himself. So her being light speed is actually a low ball and being disrespectful. I know that might sound crazy to some of y'all. How is light speed a low ball? In this universe, light speed is not even really that fast, honestly. When you put in consideration that Sonic has to box it out with beings that can literally freeze the aspect of time and move while time is completely frozen, when you realize that Sonic has to fight these kind of beings, like Shadow the Hedgehog, for example, one of the many beings that are super ridiculously fast, you realize that light speed isn't really that big of a deal. So calling Amy light speed is not even a stretch. So saying she can run at light speed is definitely believable. This also adds up with the stuff I already mentioned about her being able to dodge lasers from Eggman's mechs. This guy's always fighting Sonic, a being that's way faster than light, and she's able to dodge this kind of stuff. So even better mechs from Eggman, like she constantly able to dodge this being, fight this being. If we assume she's really light speed as a bare minimum, we can kind of get an idea of how hard she can hit. If we just lowball her for a second and assume, just for 1 second, let's assume she's only 99% the speed of light and she was to ram into you with her fist, what do you think that punch would feel like? You see what I mean? By default, it would feel like a freaking nuke. In this video, Vsauce, he pretty much talked about what would happen if Superman punched you at 99% the speed of light. It would be basically like a nuclear bomb. So speed really is power. Speed really is weight. If somebody like Amy, I'm lowballing her speed. If we was to assume she was the only ram at you at only 99% speed of light, that would still be like being hit by nuclear weaponry. Yeah, I know it's hard to believe a 12-year-old girl get hit like a nuclear bomb. Yeah, these hedgehogs are crazy like this. I mean, she's the same character that can swing her hammer so hard she can create tornadoes. That's not just a one video game type of thing. We see her do it in other games, making a tornado from swinging her hammer. This is probably because of her raw speed. Like I've already mentioned, she has to be fast to be able to make a tornado like this. This could be a mixture of her raw speed and raw strength, weight behind her strikes for her strikes to be able to make a tornado with her hammer. I'm not saying she can lift as much as Knuckles, exactly the same. I'm not saying she can punch exactly as hard as Knuckles, but look, she's not a flea in comparison though. Like, I know it's just a funny moment, but you see her hit him and it seems like he kind of was stunned. As powerful as Knuckles is. Just to prove she's somewhere in the neighborhood with some of the heavy hitters, even if you don't want to say she's exactly equal, she's somewhere in their neighborhood. Like, in this universe, there's like a constant theme of the favorite characters we love getting mecha or robot counterpart that are equal to the main counterpart. Like, Metal Sonic, for example, follows this trend. Like, these robotic doppelgangers are meant to be kind of similar to the main characters that we know of, rivaling of Sonic's power. Like, for example, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with Amy? Because Amy box it up with Mecha Knuckles and destroy it one-on-one. When it comes to durability and power, like Mecha Knuckles is kind of similar to the main Knuckles. So this to give you an idea of what Amy's actually boxing it out with. Like the beings in this universe, like Knuckles, for example, are constantly fighting beings that have these emeralds, like these super forms. Like I haven't really talked about that stuff in this video yet, but like a lot of characters have their base form and then they get these emeralds where they get these golden Super Saiyan type forms. Yeah, let's just say this could technically happen to Amy too if she gets these emeralds, like this universe version of the Infinity Stones, basically. But I'm not even trying to get on this yet. Like, characters in this universe are usually fighting beings that are powered by these emeralds on a consistent basis. It lets you know that their base states are just ridiculously strong. That's why I've been bringing up Knuckles and the Mecha Knuckles, for example, because Knuckles himself, despite these super forms having invulnerability when they get these super forms being ridiculously amped up, their durability to match, despite all of this, we've seen base form characters like this knock the characters out of their super form in their base state, guys. This is why me bringing up Amy fighting Mecha Knuckles is crazy. If that Mecha Knuckles is anywhere in the same ballpark with just normal old Knuckles, the characters in their base states are not stronger than the super forms, but for them to do this, that lets you know these guys can just hit hard. Like, I want to make it clear, I'm not saying she can punch as hard as Knuckles, but yo, she's fighting these beings that can give Knuckles issues, like a mecha robotic Knuckles, for example. And we see her do this to Knuckles in like a gag type of way. It kind of stunned him. Like, it just kind of lets you know she's not weak. Okay, so why is Knuckles doing this impressive despite him not having no super form himself? Well, this is simply impressive because super forms let you do a lot of stuff, reality warping, energy projection, chaos control, all that crazy stuff, but they also add all this kind of power to your durability, so your durability is good too. You're not completely invincible, but it takes a lot of force to hurt them in these super forms, obviously. But like, yeah, these forms are powered by Chaos Emeralds. Chaos Emeralds can splatter the world into 7 parts and such, aka their super forms can do anything these emeralds can do because they're powered up by this same energy. You know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of stuff these emeralds can do. Like, they can pretty much destroy planets. You know what I mean? Especially if they're all together. The Chaos Emeralds were powering this device up, and it's able to pierce literally stars. You know how big stars are compared to planets. So yeah, now you see why Knuckles knocking a super being out of their super form is impressive. Like, I'm talking about, like, it can pierce large structures like this. In his base state, that would pretty much prove that Knuckles, you know, because the forms actually make you more durable and stuff. That would prove like Knuckles and the base cast characters, Amy included in this, should be able to destroy planets like Earth, Jupiter, blah, 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 by default. Even if you don't want to say they're equal to it, they wouldn't need to be equal to this. Just a fraction of this power would be enough to destroy a planet like Jupiter, Earth, blah, blah, blah. This has to prove that Knuckles can at least tremble a star or something, right? These beings are powered up by Chaos Emerald, stuff that can easily destroy planets larger than Jupiter. Even pierce stars. You see what I mean? Amy being somewhere in these guys' neighborhood would basically prove she could kind of box it up with Knuckles. Even though Knuckles has the strength advantage, she would be a percentage. Maybe, I don't know, 20% or something. While he's 110 out of 100 or something. You know, she would still by default be able to, if she can match him to some degree, like the mech of Knuckles here that she handled one-on-one, she'd be able to punch and sink continents. Her hits would feel like an equivalent energy needed to do this, or even quake the sun. I mean, yeah, she's a main cast person that can hold her own against these crazy tough threats, Eggman's robots and stuff. Even if she's below him, she still would be able to technically do this kind of stuff. That's how powerful the Chaos Emeralds are. Main cast people can knock people out of their super forms in their base state. Let that sink in. She fought a mecha version of that kind of being that's similar to the real version, and she freaking won. Like, how could you lowball her after this? So while it is true, she can't necessarily punch the hardest out of the whole crew of the Sonic crew, but she can still hold her weight. She's a percentage of their might or their striking power. Like, you remember Metal Sonic I brought up a bit earlier? Like, who's supposed to be similar to the real Sonic? This proves Amy should be up there with the heavy hitters too, to some degree, because, see, there was like this Avengers Assemble moment. Like, the main crew, Amy was in this crew, like everybody was fighting in like a little war. Yeah, it was like clones of their greatest foes. Everybody was taking out the different clones. We see Amy take out Metal Sonic clone. Like, everybody's putting in their own work. It's the case with Infinite. And like, yeah, it's implied she destroyed it because when you see them running, you don't see the clone in front of her no more. So yeah, she destroyed it. You know, that clone could have been a weaker version of it, but yeah, she beat a clone of the Metal Sonic. You know what I mean? I do want to make it known she kind of had help though, because he was frozen in place and couldn't defend himself. But yeah, it shows her strikes are still hard enough to do this though. So basically, just like the rest of the cast, Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, blah, 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 she technically, just like the rest of the main characters, should easily be able to destroy planets just like the main crew. You know, punching beings out of their super forms. She's matching beings, mecha versions of those beings that can do that. And let's just say, like the rest of the cast, if she gets the stones, gets powered up, gets her golden mode, she can blow away the universe. You know, these emeralds are said to be able to turn thoughts into power. Matter of fact, one of the most powerful beings they've ever faced, known as Solaris, it's because of these emeralds. These emeralds' energy was able to help complete this being's form. These emeralds have so much energy, that was a helpful aid in doing this. These emeralds was able to grant a being so much power, a being that was going to literally wipe out universes, every timeline, multiple universes, time itself would be annihilated. The emeralds were able to help a character get more energy to be able to do these kind of things. This being Solaris can eat dimensions for lunch, literally. It's because of these super forms, the reason why Sonic and himself, was fighting this being that's literally a time eater. It's because of these super forms that was able to match this being's power. Yeah, she's like cosmic being status when she has this in her super form too. She can blow away timelines and universes, more than one, you know. And like I said earlier, she doesn't need all this to be powerful in her super modes. Like, we literally seen Team Rose, her and her own squad, fight Team Sonic and his squad. She's kind of the magic mystic of the group with these little magical cards and stuff. fortune telling stuff, adventurer. Amy's still ridiculously strong without relying on the cards. Without even her hammer, her fist, her hammer just makes it worse. But what do you guys think? Before I get going, hit that like button for me real quick. Thanks for the donations, y'all. Respect Amy. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.